So on one level, the president has picked a fight with his own party, okay, with this big, beautiful bill. And we could be headed for an economic downturn of epic proportions if they don't find a way forward, okay? You know, there's an understanding. Everybody wants to talk right and left. It's not about moving right or left. It's about moving forward in life. And that's what we're not doing in our politics with our policy. And there's an opportunity in this conflict for Democrats if they decide to do more than just watch. Now, my second focus tonight is going to be what we were just discussing. And the president just signed a new travel ban that largely affects the Middle East, but also his buddy in Venezuela. I told you that was a marriage of convenience. I told you when he was dealing with the head of Venezuela and saying how great everything is there, that this was situational ethics. Everything is not great in Venezuela. They cannot be trusted in terms of who they're processing and how to send to this country. And they're on the list. Proof of a growing menace here that we are not talking about enough, and we should never be distracted from it by these fugazi issues of what we should be worried about, okay? We have a real danger to focus on. I want to take you through the intelligence, the reporting, and the politics of what really threatens your and mine, and more importantly, our families and our communities' safety. All right, so let's start with the big, beautiful bill that is getting an ugly reception. Now, here's what I'm told. The president was prepared for the real conservatives in his party to challenge him for a perceived double cross, right? What's the double cross? Trump has given them less revenue because of tax cuts that some of them aren't crazy about. They don't want them weighted to the top 1%. They've learned their constituents are not them. The constituency is the majority. So they wanted the tax cuts architected differently. That's part of the fight. What's the second part of the double cross? More spending despite all the Doge drama. Now, what I'm told the president did not anticipate is that his money man would get mouthy. But here we are with Elon Musk, who once cheered Trump like a fanboy, who spent $290 million to get Trump and the Republicans elected, now saying the budget bill is a disaster. Did you see this? This play on to kill Trump's bill? I got like a weird shaped ear from playing rugby, and like sometimes the IFB doesn't sit in it right. This is what you get for for running around and getting hit in the ear all the time. Anyway, just leave Uma Thurman up. No reason to show me, even though I'm talking about myself. Kill Bill was a great movie. Loved her, loved Tarantino's film. Musk is using it as a meme to play to his Twitter fans to kill this budget bill. Talk about the game. Trump can't say anything to Elon. Why? Because he made him a made man. So now he can't touch him. So who does it fall on? Speaker Johnson. Now, Johnson's in a pickle. Why? Can't offend Trump. Trump will crush him like a bug. And yet, he has to agree with Musk's basic assessment about the bill because by anyone's reckoning other than Stephen Miller, it certainly adds to spending in a way that is going to affect the budget, debt, and deficit. But he also needs Musk's money, and he needs Twitter for the midterms. So he has to play nice. Take a listen.
I consider Elon a friend. He's obviously brilliant. Elon and I had a great conversation, about a half-hour-long talk on Monday. We talked about the big, beautiful bill, because I think he was trying to make a joke a couple of days earlier. It can't be big and beautiful. And I started the conversation, oh, yes, it can, my friend. It's very beautiful. This is just the beginning of a long process of making government more efficient and effective, of cutting wasteful spending, fraud, and abuse. And you can't do it all in one bill. And Elon was encouraged by that conversation. We had it was a very friendly, very fruitful conversation together. And he and I talked about the midterm elections. And he said, well, I'm going to help. We got to make sure that the Republicans keep the House majority.
Yeah, no, it was great. We had a great understanding. We're on the same page. And then he just happened to come out today and say that this bill is hot garbage. That's politics. That's the game, okay? You have to see through it. Now, if you needed a reason to go bad on the two-party system, and I am open and transparent about this, I think picking to be a Republican or a Democrat is basically taking your head and drop kicking it through the goalposts of stupidity. Because this is all it's about, is advantage. And it is not about common concerns. It's not about getting things done. It's about proving that the other side at the end of the day is worse. And Elon Musk is an example of this. And he only matters because of his money. And that's why oh, I like him. He's nice, because they need his money and they need his platform. It matters so much that they have to let him say whatever he wants. But there's a saving grace for Mr. Musk on this particular issue. And you know what it is? He's right. The CBO's final analysis of this budget bill is that it is aptly named. It is big and beautiful. It is big in terms of adding bigly to the debt, an estimated $2.4 trillion over the next decade. And it is beautiful if you're in the corporate class. But for the majority, for you, you're going to have to pay for these beauty treatments, the treatment for the Pentagon and for the 1%. Millions could lose their health insurance through Medicaid work requirements and cuts to the ACA. Now, here's my point on that. You need to cut spending. And it's going to bring pain that may hurt you politically. But either you have what it takes to do that or you don't. The suggestion that you're not making a hard choice because the people on Medicaid are lazy, that is a mean stereotype. How do we know? The numbers. How many people on Medicaid are not working without valid explanation from the program? Less than 10%. So that's the fix? That's all they're talking about is these people who need to work? Why are they talking about it so much when it's such a small number? Because they're playing to a stereotype instead of making the hard choices that they don't want to have to justify to you. Politicians need to tell the truth and make cuts, make hard choices, and let the people vote on the impact. But don't play games because we're going to call it out here. And this isn't an opinion, okay? I am forwarding this as the fruit of independent analyses that show lower income individuals will see their incomes fall by this tax redistribution. And the highest earners will get a boost. This is what happens when you cut more for the top than for anywhere else when it comes to taxes. Now, Republicans will say what a party always says when they don't like the CBO score. You can't trust them. Who is the CBO? We pay for it. Who oversees it and who oversees its staffing? Congress. So what are they talking about that they don't trust it? They oversee it. They only go against it when it doesn't suit the politics of the moment. See the game, okay? Now, what's the rationale for tax cuts? We heard it in 2016. Trickle down, right? Cuts for the top, they'll spend, they'll invest, and that will lift all boats. But that is not how it worked out the first time with tax cuts, not until the pandemic and all that money that we juiced into the economy. Now there is a second promise, which is that tariffs will make up the shortfall. This is very difficult to justify. Why? Who knows what the tariffs will be? Who knows how long they'll be in place in order to assess a number? They've already shifted 3 times in a way that makes the estimates off the original to where they are currently different by some 500%. And even taken at the top number, which is no longer in effect, I guess theoretically it could come back. I don't know why I'd use it as an assumption, but I will just to be generous in the assessment. Even at that rate, the tariffs don't come close to replacing the lost tax revenue from the tax cuts. And remember, the tariffs come with a price for that money and economic impacts for that money that have economists cutting our GDP almost in half. Not lefty economists, not just righty economists. The consensus with economists is that we are looking at a bad year because of these moves. Could it pay off in the middle or long term? Absolutely. Will it? I have no idea. The only thing we know for sure is what it's doing right now, and it's going to be a hit. Does America have the tolerance for that kind of pain in the hopes that it someday pays off? We'll see. We'll see in the midterms. Now, the other political dynamic here is that the GOP is dealing with the reality that our president is not really a fiscal conservative. Trump likes to spend money. He did it in his first term, not including the pandemic, and he did it in record fashion. And for all the Doge drama about how they were changing the game, did you know that the president only asked to cut $9.4 billion of Musk's $175 billion identified so far? Why? I think it's because he's in favor of the spending. And that's neither good nor bad. That's for you to decide on the basis of what he spends it on. Now, here's my political pet peeve, and I'll make this quick because nobody seems to give a damn about this. And when I asked lawmakers from the left and right about it last night, I got literally nothing from either of them. Why in this budget bill is there a provision for a 10-year moratorium on state and local governments from enforcing AI laws? But why? You know, there's a notion out there that Doge was really a smokescreen for Musk bringing in his AI buddies to build all new databases on us for the United States government. Did you know that? Now, you can dismiss this as tinfoil hat, but why this moratorium? Now, the explanation I'm getting to me is weak sauce, but you make your own choice. Oh, no. We're putting this in because we don't want too many different standards across the country. It could get confusing state by state, so we just want to have the federal government do it. Since when? Since when do Republicans believe it's better to have the federal government do something than to allow states their own reckoning? You know, the 10th Amendment? Since when? So tell me why. Why is it okay for the many states to have different standards for what a woman can do with their body, but not for AI? That's too sensitive. Does that make sense to you? Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.